I didn't realize how quiet an office could get until everyone decided, without saying it, to stop talking to me. Not cold shoulder quiet, worse, the kind where conversations pause when you approach, then resume a few beats too late. The kind where your name becomes a liability. I'm writing this because I keep replaying one specific afternoon in my head, trying to pinpoint the moment I crossed a line I didn't know existed. I thought I was doing my job. I thought I was being careful. I was wrong about at least one of those things. For context, I work in operations at a mid-sized logistics company. Nothing glamorous, we move things from A to B and make sure invoices match reality. I've been here 5 years, long enough to stop counting the fluorescent lights and long enough to believe I understood the rules. Show up, don't make waves, fix problems quietly. That last part mattered. When the situation started, everything seemed fine, better than fine. We just landed a new client, and leadership was on edge and the way people get when bonuses are suddenly plausible. The workload doubled overnight. People stayed late. Coffee went cold on desks. The mood was tense but focused. I like that kind of pressure. It gives you a clear purpose. I was assigned to coordinate between the warehouse and accounting, mostly. Spreadsheets, emails, and the occasional walk downstairs to confirm what a number actually meant. My manager trusted me because I didn't ask for much and I didn't screw up. Or at least I hadn't. The first red flag was small enough to ignore. An invoice discrepancy that didn't add up. A rounding error, I thought. Then another one, different shipment, same client. I flagged it to accounting. They corrected it and moved on. No big deal. The second red flag felt like a coincidence. A warehouse report that showed fewer pallets than what was billed. I asked the floor supervisor about it. He shrugged and said, happens. Adjustments later. He didn't look worried. That mattered to me. The third red flag wasn't about numbers. It was about behavior. My manager stopped putting things in writing. He'd swing by my desk instead, lowering his voice, saying things like, let's keep this flexible and we'll clean it up end of quarter. I nodded because that's what you do when someone above you speaks in generalities that sound reasonable. EDIT. A few people will probably ask why I didn't escalate immediately. The honest answer is that I didn't think I had anything solid. It felt like trying to accuse fog. Weeks passed. The discrepancies didn't stop. They changed shape. Overbilling here and reporting there. Always justifiable if you squinted. Always benefiting the same place. The client was paying more. The warehouse numbers looked cleaner. Accounting stayed quiet. I started keeping my own notes. Not formally, just a private spreadsheet. Dates, shipment IDs, what the system said versus what I saw. I told myself it was for my sanity. I didn't tell anyone else. One afternoon, I stayed late to reconcile a particularly messy batch. The office was nearly empty. The hum of the HVAC was loud enough to be annoying. I walked downstairs to the warehouse to verify account, clipboard in hand like that meant something. I ran into my manager by the loading dock. He looked surprised to see me. You don't need to do that, he said. Just double-checking, I replied. He smiled in a way that didn't reach his eyes. We trust the system. I trusted patterns more. I did the count anyway. It didn't match. The pressure ramped up subtly. I was left out of meetings I used to attend. Emails started ceasing. People I didn't know. My manager began correcting me in public, small things, tone neutral but pointed. I caught myself rehearsing explanations in my head before saying anything. At home, I talked about it less and less. My partner noticed. I said work was busy. That was true, in a way. The breaking point came during a quarterly review prep. Leadership wanted clean numbers for a presentation. My manager asked me to smooth out a report. His words, I asked what that meant. He looked at me like I was being difficult. Align it with the story, he said. You're good at that. I went back to my desk and stared at the spreadsheet. I knew exactly how to align it. I also knew what it would erase. I didn't smooth it. I attached my version and sent it to the group with a note explaining the discrepancies and my assumptions. It was polite, factual. I didn't accuse anyone of anything. I hit send and immediately felt sick. The meeting happened without me. I was told afterward that my approach lacked context. My manager closed his door and spoke carefully. "You embarrassed us," he said. "You need to understand how this looks. I just reported what I found," I said. He nodded. Intent doesn't control impact. Update. For those asking, yes, I considered HR. No, I didn't go then. I was still hoping this would resolve internally. The unexpected revelation didn't come in a dramatic confrontation. It came in an email accidentally forwarded to me. A thread between my manager and a director discussing containment. My name was there. Not maliciously, clinically, as a risk factor. They weren't worried about the numbers. They were worried about me. I confronted my manager. I didn't yell. I showed him the email and asked what was going on. He sighed like I was a child asking why the sky was blue. "This is bigger than you," he said. "You don't see the whole picture." "Then show me," I said. He didn't. That was the moment I made a decision I can't undo. I sent my private spreadsheet to compliance. Not anonymously, with my name on it. I included the email. I wrote a short cover note and stuck 2 facts. The fallout was immediate and slow at the same time. Investigations take time, social consequences do not. People stopped inviting me to lunch. Someone joked within earshot about rats. My manager became professionally distant, which is a skill I didn't know existed until then. I was reassigned to special projects, which meant nothing and everything. Compliance interviewed me twice. They were calm, methodical. They didn't promise outcomes. They thanked me for my cooperation. At home, my partner asked if we were okay. I said I thought so. That was another half-truth. Months later, the company announced a restructuring. My manager left to pursue other opportunities. A director was reassigned. No details were shared. The client relationship was re-evaluated. The discrepancies disappeared. I wasn't celebrated. I wasn't punished. Officially, my performance reviews stayed neutral. My career stalled in a way that's hard to prove and easy to feel. Recruiters stopped calling back. Internal transfers went nowhere. EDIT. To clarify, I didn't expect a medal. I expected normal. That's not what happened. I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I'd smoothed the report. If I'd aligned the story. Maybe none of this would have touched me. Maybe it would have gotten worse for someone else later. I don't know. What I do know is that silence has a cost, and so does speaking. You don't get to choose whether you pay, only when. The office is loud again, new projects, new faces. When people talk to me now, it's polite and careful, like handling glass. I do my job, I leave on time. I don't keep private spreadsheets anymore. I still think about that afternoon by the loading dock. The smile that didn't reach my manager's eyes. The trust in the system. I broke that trust, or maybe it was already broken. I'm not sure which version scares me more.